And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us. Morning, Robert.
Hey, Mike.
How you doing today?
Good. After that basketball game last night, I was kind of rooting for Kansas, and had a friend call me. He said, "Well, are you getting ready to cut your wrist at halftime?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll drink some Red Bull and come back and whatever."
Yeah, that was a good. I'm not a basketball guy, but I saw the results online last night and this morning, and I was like, "Wow."
I have a sister that lives in North Carolina.
Okay.
And then they said, "Well, are you going to be voting for who?" I said, "Well, put it this way. I got two cousins that live in Kansas. I was born in Kansas. My mother lived in Kansas, and my sister lives in North Carolina. So it's 4-1. Do the math.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Kansas.
You're going to tick off more people by rooting for North Carolina than you would for Kansas. Pound for pound. So smart move there. So, of course, for folks that don't know, Robert joins us once a month, and we just remind folks about the Walker Aviation Museum. For folks that aren't familiar, it's located inside the air terminal at the Roswell Air Center. It is a museum that is devoted to what that area was prior to it being the Roswell Air Center and Eastern New Mexico University. That was Roswell Army Airfield initially, then, of course, Walker Air Force Base. And it served during the roles of World War II and the Cold War here. And so the museum is devoted to the history of that Air Force Base and to the Cold War mission that this area served in. When we talk about the big ballistic missiles and things like that, that's where Walker Aviation Museum covers. So
yeah, and we're now open. Before we were closed most of the time. And
COVID put a damper on everything for a couple of years.
And you don't have any money right now, and it's also we're just open for 2 hours prior to the midday departure, and you can check those out by doing the AA.com and put in ROW.
Go to their flight schedule.
Dallas Fort Worth, yeah. So, for example, yesterday, departure, I think it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, but now today it's 12:30 and tomorrow it's 12:30.
Okay.
But so about 2 hours prior to that midday, we go out there and open it up. I do, Bob Donnell.
Okay.
Right now.
Do you guys are offering like, say, a youth group or an organization?
Yeah.
They call up and say, hey, can we do a special tour or something? You guys can make those arrangements for them.
Absolutely. And I've got some details on that we can talk about here in a little bit.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
So if the hours of operation doesn't really suit the needs of what you or your organization's trying to do, reach out to the museum and they can set up something special.
That's totally separate because we open it up for people waiting for the planes, getting off the plane.
You're trying to just catch some people while they're waiting around anyway and say, hey, come learn some stuff and check out some pretty cool things.
And I go out there, and so does Bob, and almost every time I go out there and spend my couple hours or 2.5 hours, it's a positive experience because you get people come in that are, cool, have some good experience, good history, and talk about things. And it's kind of one of those situations where, I'm kind of retired, semi. Well, yeah. So it gets me.
You're retired means you don't get a day-to-day paycheck. Now you just work for other people.
That's right.
I get it.
So anyway, I go out there and it's really been a positive experience. A lot of people coming in, and we get sometimes we get maybe 4 or 5 people coming in over those 2 hours, and sometimes we get 12, 15 people coming in.
So just no rhyme or reason, just happens to catch the whim of the people that particular day. So.
Just one of those situations. And so we're looking forward to, we get with the school kids or youth, we're looking at maybe 14 to 18-year-olds, get them out. And we have some people coming out from the Optimist Club.
Oh, good.
Coming up later in this month, but hopefully we can get some school kids scheduled. And that's a separate thing. We'll do it almost any time. We need to get some volunteers out there to help with the flight simulators and the running the computer so we can give them some information. On that particular subject, we have a couple flight simulators that we got through XL Entry Foundation, and they're really nice. And
I think you guys are catching, because I know, I think after the last time we talked a little bit about this, I got 1 or 2 calls of people saying, hey, I heard you talking about the simulator thing. Who do I need to get a hold of? And I gave them y'all's information. So hopefully they reached out to you.
Yeah.
So, because that's a great thing with the flight simulators, because that's cool that, we're hoping to get these youth and exposed and maybe get them into leaning towards STEM related career fields. But in actuality, if you're just wanting to be a pilot and learning this stuff, this is valuable to get in there, and you don't have to be some kid or anybody just wants to learn to fly. get in there and get some simulator time. And like you said, you take go through the training with Robert and Bob and these guys, and next thing you know, you're getting hours towards your pilot's license by training on the simulator. Once you get checked out and everything, you kind of check it out like a library card and get to use it. And when there's not anything going on with it, but it's a great opportunity for folks to broaden their own horizons here. Basically, with little to no cost. It's pretty cool.
Right. And they, it's a good simulator. We have it set up right now with a Cessna 172.
Okay.
And they do a taxi, which is actually pretty difficult. But you have to learn to, use your rudder pedals to steer and use the throttle. Anyway, then we do a takeoff, and then we do probably just a flight. But various things you can do. I had someone there, and actually, I tell you, it was my nephew. He's, 40 years old, 45. But anyway, he got on the simulator, and we selected flying over New York.
Okay.
He's from Manhattan himself.
Okay. So he's looking for landmarks.
So he was flying along. He said, yeah, that's really... He said, oh, wait a minute, that building is over there. He kind of like, he found a few things.
Critique
the right.
Topography a little
bit.
But
it's a good system. It's once you get through that, you can select other things, which we don't do. But you can select 50 different aircraft.
Oh, wow.
And land at any airport in the world.
Wow.
So you can pick an F-22 Raptor and land at Istanbul, Turkey at 9 o'clock at night.
There you go, if your heart desires.
Whatever, yeah.
Can you land it at the Rio Dosa airport?
No, I don't think so. Oh, maybe so. I haven't checked that out.
I wonder if that runway is big enough to handle a fighter jet or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. I hear it's a tricky airport to fly in and out of because the way the mountains are set up there, and
you're also dealing with altitude.
Yeah, exactly. It's that one's a little bit for more experienced pilots than some other airfields, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, today, I want to relate one of my favorite memories of being in the military, kind of a little story, and then also want to give a quick update, kind of Brigadier General Walker, which the Walker Air Force Base was named after.
Yes.
And pick up a few things that a lot of times are left off. You just hear about him leading a bombing mission in New Guinea and disappearing, and he's actually still missing in action. But, he was...
There's more to him
He's
than that
from
story.
New Mexico and stuff like that. So anyway, I'll give you a little more detail of some of the other really cool things he did before he went and got, shot down and stuff.
So we'll definitely talk. Never mind. I'll wait till we get to talking about him.
What's that?
I was curious what part of New Mexico he's from.
Okay, he is. Well, I'm going to do it right now.
All right, let's do it right now.
Okay, Brigadier General Kenneth Walker was born in July 7th, 1898 in Cerrillos, Cerrillos, New Mexico. I think it's up around Santa Fe area.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I haven't heard that one. Cerrillos. I've heard that on the news before. Cerrillos, yeah.
New Mexico, and became a flying cadet in World War I. As a second lieutenant, his first station was Mather Field, California. He also served at Brooks and Barron Fields, Texas, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and Post Field, Oklahoma.
But a lot of people of his era spent time in Brooks, Texas.
Yeah. He was commanding officer of air intelligence in the Philippines in 1922, and he returned to the U.S. in 1925 and graduated from the Air Corps Tactical School at Langley, Virginia, and participated in the Air Corps Tactical School's development of the doctrine called industrial web theory, which called for precision attacks against carefully selected critical industrial targets in case of war.
Okay.
Shortly before the United States entered World War II, Walker was one of 4 officers assigned to the Air War Plans Division, which was tasked with developing a production requirements plan for the war in the air. And together, these 4 officers devised the AWPD-1 plan. That was a blueprint for the imminent air war against Germany that called for the creation of an enormous air force to win the war through strategic bombardment.
Oh, okay.
So that was probably one of the biggest things he did.
Okay.
After a tour in Hawaii and one at the Army Air Corps headquarters, he was transferred to New Guinea in 1942 as a brigadier general. The general died while leading a daylight bombing attack against shipping in the harbor of Rabaul, New Britain. General MacArthur had told him to stay at home, don't risk getting on the airplane, but he was not that type. He was sitting back behind the pilots in the lead aircraft saying, "Follow me," type thing. Okay.
Yep, that's what he did was not common for a one-star general to be in that position.
Yeah.
They usually keep them in the rear with the
General MacArthur wanted him to stay at home. And so anyway.
He's like, no, I lead from the front.
So his aircraft was disabled and forced down an overwhelming number of enemy fighters. And during his military career, he earned the following awards. He got the Purple Heart, Legion of Merit, Silver Star, Distinguished Service Cross, and after his death, he was given the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Wow.
So then that's the general that Walker was named.
And then they named the Air Force Base after him.
Yeah, because he was from New Mexico.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
Why can't I wish his base would, I was just sitting, because we got Holloman, we got Cannon. I'm like, I don't know. Walker seems like a much more prestigious name. We should have kept that one around.
Yeah, right. I think so too. Considering the size of the runway and the stuff, I think it was probably a little political stuff going on when they closed it.
Yeah.
Well, how they selected which bases to close.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness, and
this was during the Vietnam War, 1967, and
it was harder for them to save bases back then.
And they were trying to cut back.
Yeah, it wasn't a very popular thing to have military base around and all that stuff. So, different time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's pretty cool, the interest in the story about him and realizing that he was as much a strategist as he was an executor of the strategy.
Absolutely.
He was very much a part of the planning, and I'm willing to bet that even at the war colleges today, when they're in there teaching some of this stuff at the Air Force Academy or West Point or whatever they're teaching these tactics at, I imagine some of what he thought of and what he designed and what he contributed to, they're still teaching in those classrooms today, I bet,
Yes,
that's pretty cool to think about sometimes, So think about that next time you're down at the air terminal and you see the Walker Air Force Base Museum there, and you're like, man, I should go check that out and say, what, there's some really cool history here with Roswell and World War II and the Cold War and General Walker and just even the POWMI stuff. We have a lot of great history in this community, and I think most of us sleep on it a little bit. And I think you should get out there and explore your own community.
That's
check
true.
these things out. So anyway,
absolutely. We want, before we forget, I just keep. We're going to be going out and maybe trying to get some financial support from different companies around town, and then we're going to, if they're maybe be the person that supports us for that particular month. We're going to have a nice big sign up in front, and I'll mention it like on this today.
Yeah.
But in the years past, just recently, we of course had XL Energy help us out, Roswell Toyota, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, and some other individuals, some doctors, some folks around town, and Glenn's Furniture's given us some furniture. And Aircel has been a big supporter in the past. So
good deal.
Anyway.
Yeah, these are some great organizations, and a lot of those names you just mentioned help a lot of different organizations in our community, and we see that, and we do appreciate those supporters that do that. And by the way, always could use more. If there's somebody, business, organization, individual that's looking, saying, man, I love what the museum's doing. I love what they represent. I would like to do more to help foster what they do. And for those that don't know, there's really two mission statements that are part of what the Walker Air Force Base Museum is all about. And really it's preserving that history of World War II and the Cold War, but the other is inspiring our next generation to go towards STEM and pursue careers in aviation or STEM or engineering, that kind of stuff.
You know what? If I keep coming, you're going to get really good at this. Our mission statement is to educate and inspire all generations concerning the history and legacy of Walker Air Force Base and encourage our youth to explore careers in science, technology, engineering, and math.
There you go.
There you go.
I dragged it out to a couple paragraphs. He nailed it in a sentence there. But it's exactly what it is. So if you believe in, hey, I'd love to show my, when we talk about building our community better and things like it, and you wanting to get involved, these are the kind of things I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff that makes our community better. Investing your time, investing your money, investing your efforts into great local organizations like this one that are providing enrichment, education, aid, and perhaps even a path for their future. all through a simple trip to the museum, and I love that kind of stuff. So if you'd love to support it, please reach out to the Walker Aviation Museum. Go out to their website. WAFBmuseum.org is the webpage. You can go and kind of read more about the website. You can make donations if you'd like. If you'd like to,
we actually have an email now.
You got an email there too.
It's Walker A Museum. Instead of saying Walker Aviation Museum, we just say Walker A Museum at gmail.com.
There you go.
And
think of
also,
it in a sentence form. You can say Walker's A Museum.
And like the sign I have on the outside of the door, I've asked if you are a teacher or a person, or you want to get a group of students and come visit us, you can text me. Don't call me because I probably won't answer. But text me at the local area code 575. But text me at 420-3 and then 789.
Okay.
420-3-789.
Very good.
And text me and say, hey, I got a bunch of students here. They're 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, whatever. And we'd like to come out and. But we could use best 8 to 12 at a time.
Okay, that's
and we need them
good.
for about 2 hours.
Okay.
And what you could try to do, like they've done in the past, is come out for us for 2 hours, and then maybe go over to the university and see some medical stuff, or maybe one of the
set up a program with them, or for
maybe
nursing,
we could arrange to go to the fire department or whatever.
Yeah,
they could go around and look at that.
Or maybe something they can set up for something else in the flight line area or whatever. Depending, obviously. Safety and security would be priority one there on those, as it is always out at the flight line or out on the airport there.
Current board members are myself, Katie Yates is a treasurer, Sandy Correa, she's going to kill me for mispronouncing her name, secretary, Bob Donnell, Juliana Halverson, Judy Armstrong, Jerry Kloffer, Friar Jarek Norwacki from Poland, but he's the chaplain out at Nimi.
Oh, okay.
Now, besides at the church, Catholic Church.
So he's got multiple religious gigs in town.
Stephen Miller.
Cool. So I imagine, are you looking for a couple
We're looking for more bodies, yes.
I know you're always looking for volunteers, from docents to volunteers just helping wherever, fill a hole or help. If you love archiving, preserving, I'm sure you've got a bunch of work there that could help, people could help you with. And obviously, if you want to serve on the board or serve in some of those other capacities, always looking for more people to do that.
Absolutely.
So, and really, if I think you'll dig it if you're one of those folks that grew up loving military stuff or loving aviation, or maybe you're just you love history, you love curating in museums and artifacts and things like that. Whatever your in tastes and enjoyments of things, I bet you'll find that you'll find something that fills that need by coming out and volunteering and working with the Walker Aviation Museum folks. So.
Right. As far as we've been coordinating, we're trying to get the students out, was Roswell Independent School District. Ruben Bolaños is the STEM coordinator. Sidney Gutierrez, Charter School, Gateway School, All Saints Catholic, Assurance Home, Civil Air Patrol, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Youth Challenge. That's a really good group we could get out to our museum, and Flight Simulator and STEM stuff. Oh, well, let me mention right quick. They come out and they see some history. We, give them quick little, about 10 minutes of history of Walker, the students, when they come out to our museum for their little briefing on the flight simulators and stuff. And then we give them about a 10-minute video showing how the flight simulator works. That's about 10 minutes out of a 25-minute one, so we just shorten that up. And then the students, come out in groups of 8 to 12, so we break them into groups of 4 or 6. And then they half go to the flight simulator and start doing that, taxi and aircraft takeoff in a scenario. And the other half sit down in front of a large computer screen, and we show them how to, again, no regrets on how to choose a college career or how to, what to major of in the future on developing a Venn diagram. And then we show them videos that run anywhere from 2 minutes to 6 minutes long, and these include science, technology, and math, STEM overview, careers in aviation, Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Aviation Maintenance Technician Program. That's a video we have from Eastern New Mexico University, and a day in the life of a wind turbine engineer, Crumlin Auto Group, Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Auto Mechanic Program, engineer energy careers and career cluster, industry video series, oil well workers career video, what does a registered nurse do, architectural engineering versus architecture, what's the difference? And now we're showing 5 like 1 minute, 47 seconds short recruiting videos from the Air Force, U.S. Air Force technical training overview, aerospace ground equipment, U.S. Air Force air traffic control, and U.S. Air Force electronic principles. And the final one is U.S. Air Force geospatial intelligence.
Oh, wow. So you can
And those are really cool videos. And I've also contacted the Marines locally and the Army, and they're going to get me some other stuff that we could add in there. But
very cool. But lots of very cool stuff that hopefully kids or any,
right
younger
out of high
folks.
school, they're going to either go to work directly or go in the military.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe,
other, things.
get some of these younger kids and they see some of these videos and that kind of puts.
Yeah, and they get all this military training that they can use in the future. Plus, they get, financial help to go back to college once they get out of that. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a great thing. So, again, this is just stuff available. We talk about the museum, but it really is so much more than that. It's really providing youth opportunities for planning their future. To it goes from there to celebrating what's taken place here in Roswell and some of the history and all. It's a really cool thing, and I would love to get more people to come out, see it, get involved with it, make it. I would love to a point where some days that thing's as big as the UFO museum, and we get maybe if it ever comes downtown or whatever happens, the future of it, but it draws people like the UFO museum does. That would be a great thing, because I think the history is uniquely as cool. No, we don't have little green men or little gray men, but we got a lot of cool history and a lot of cool military stuff there. It's pretty. I love it. So come out, check it out, get involved, and everything else.
Do we have time to give a story?
Yeah.
How much time do we got?
We got about 10 minutes or so.
Oh, okay, cool.
Real quick, though, before you do your story, I do want to plug something else. We're talking Air Force real quick. Mark this date on your calendar, May 7th. May 7th and 8th. Holloman Air Force Base is having their annual air show. It's every year. This year they're having the U.S. Thunderbirds come out and perform. They are the United States Air Force's aerial stunt. Like if you've heard of the Blue Angels, that's the Navy's version. Air Force version is the Thunderbirds. They're going to be at Holloman Air Force Base May 7th and 8th. If you love aircraft, if you love military, come on out. They'll go out there. They'll have air demonstrations of everything from probably A-10s to F-22s, and of course the Thunderbirds will be the big draw there. But if you love aircraft, if you love seeing that kind of stuff, and you want to get
Are they flying them both days, 7th and 8th?
Both days. They're flying. Thunderbirds are flying both days according to the Holloman page there that they're doing it all.
Cool.
So I just wanted to I wanted to mention that before we got
absolutely.
off on topic on that. So
okay, what I have now is I'd ask Mike if I could. This is just a military story. I was in the military 30 years, and this is one of my favorite memories. And you as an audience out there might think, nah, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Look, lay it on me. I'm sure it's a good one.
In 1983, while I was in England at RF Alconbury, to be specific, I was managing a great bunch of Air Force flight support technicians, and we were supporting the TR-1A, which was another name for the U-2 spy plane.
Okay.
My airmen were supporting the daily launch and recovery of these aircraft, maintaining the full pressure suits and the other life support equipment that went with the aircraft. One of the airmen I had working in the organization was Eric Mays, and I had known and worked with him. We both worked at Beale Air Force Base, California, supporting the U-2 and the SR-71 reconnaissance aircraft. Okay. Eric was about 6'6" and about 235 pounds, and I don't think he had more than 2 ounces of fat.
Well, those people,
Big,
did he eat like a horse?
Yeah.
Oh, it draws me nuts.
And he was known by everyone at Beale and now at RF Alconbury as Big E. So Big E. So Big E, if you're out there, I'm talking about you. But anyway, while at Beale, about 1/3 of the airmen were always deployed worldwide, supporting the U-2s and SR-71s, which were spread around the world. And we transported the pilots and the SR-71's reconnaissance systems officers, pressure suits, helmets, and other equipment in large boxes that weighed about 100, 105, 110 pounds. And they were transported on KC-135 aircraft that they deployed on.
Okay.
And when carrying the pressure suits out, it usually took 2 guys. However, Big E was known for picking the box up, and he kind of held it over his head and would walk out to the aircraft and deliver the box. So that's how he kind of got his name, Big E. Here goes Big E carrying a big old box up. So Eric May was a great worker, a great airman, and in late March 1983, there at Alconbury, he was selected as Airman of the Quarter at Alconbury. One day in early April, just a month or so after that, I was in my office, and Big E came in, reported very formally, standing at attention and saluting. He asked permission to speak to me, which I said, "Of course, Eric, what's going on?" And he laid down the Airman of the Quarter certificate and said that he was returning this because he did not deserve the honor after what he had done last night. So as his boss, I was saying, "Oh boy, here we go."
Do I want to know this?
Yeah.
Just take your word, be quiet.
Somewhat shocked, I said, "What did you do, Eric?" He said he ripped the door and the door frame off of his dorm room and therefore did not deserve this award. So I had him explain how that happened. He said his girlfriend called him up, basically dumped him from the phone in the hallway at this time. So after he got off the phone call, he was really upset. And he went back to his room and he went to open the door, and the door was locked. So he just jerked on the door handle and it ripped it right out of the wall, including the frame and everything.
He's a pretty strong dude.
Strong dude, yeah. Either that or the doors put in pretty weak.
Right, the government project.
So he indicated that he really was sorry and that he did not deserve Airman of the Quarter award for his actions. And I thought for a few seconds. Then I stated, quote, "Eric, we're in the height of the Cold War here in Europe, trying to prepare a new weapon system to be used against the Russians. I personally need about 25 more guys exactly like you that are ready and willing to kick some serious butt.
Yeah.
So get out there and ask the personnel repairing your door how you can help. And by the way, take your Airman of the Quarter certificate that you earned and get out of my office. You're still number 1 in my book. Now get back to work." Gosh, I wish I had a whole bunch of Big E's around, you know.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, he probably wears his heart on a sleeve, doesn't he? Sounds like he's one of those guys that kind of does that, you know? And he'll go through a wall for you. You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's great. I'm just curious. We've run sure on time. SR-71. What's the crew on that? Like, how many's in? Is it just the
pilot and the reconnaissance systems officer in the back?
Okay, I didn't know.
He had no flight controls in the back.
Okay,
just the front. This guy in the front was flying the aircraft, and he was.
Well, I knew there wasn't like a bombardier crew and all that because there's not that. It's just the 2 seats, right? I mean, it's not like
the trainer version has a stacked where it's a windscreen and another windscreen above it.
Okay,
so both could be pilots.
Okay.
But the regular one had just a little window.
Okay.
That he could look out of and wouldn't get too claustrophobic back there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not because it's a big aircraft. You know, it's as big as bombers in some cases, but it doesn't have all the innards that a bomber does. I guess I was just curious about that. So, anything else, real quick? But we're running short on time. Is there anything else we want to mention?
Steve Griffin brought out a whole bunch of professional weather equipment. He was a weather guy in the U.S. Navy for many years. So we're getting that. It's been put up. Now we're getting signs to kind of describe what it is. So, but anyway, we're out there open 2 hours before the midday takeoff. Check it out by going to aa.com and see what the takeoff times are, and come on out and visit us. And also, please give me a call at 420. No, give me a text. 420-3789. Or, contact us at the museum or whatever to get their students out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, Walker Aviation Museum has a Facebook page. You can like and follow and shoot messages you have questions about or anything. And, of course, the website, www.wafbmuseum.org. Go there. You can, by the way, you also find the Amazon Smiles link there if you shop Amazon a lot.
Right.
Another way you can help out the museum is by going through that Amazon Smile portal for the museum. That way, every time you make a purchase at Amazon, a few pennies get donated back to the Walker Aviation Museum.
All right.
Doesn't cost you any extra out of your budget, out of your what you're buying or anything like that.
Yeah, we got a couple touch screens. Now you walk in to get a 2-minute history of the Atlas missile, 2-minute history of Walker. Those are running. We're running different airplane histories on our computer during the day when we're open. So we got a lot of activity, electronic stuff going. So
yeah, so come on out.
Come on out.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate
it.
Appreciate it as always, and we'll see you next time. Okay.
Next time.